The coaching carousel has been spinning for weeks here in Louisiana, but hopefully the final domino will fall either later today or tomorrow. As it is expected, LSU defensive coordinator Blake Baker will lead the Tigers to become Jon Sumrall's replacement at Tulane. How big a catch is this for the Wave, and where does this leave new LSU coach Lane Kiffin? As we do each Friday, we'll talk to NOLA.com assistant sports editor Zach Ewing for his insight, and we'll also give predictions for Tulane's huge game, maybe the biggest game ever at Yulman Stadium, as the Wave takes on North Texas for the American Conference Championship and a likely spot in the CFP playoffs in a battle of lame duck coaches. Of course, we'll also preview Saints-Bucs and share whether we think the black and gold can pull off what would be the biggest upset of the week in the NFL. And the Pick'em crew is back and well rested after a week off, and Uncle Big Nick can't wait to tell you how good he was a couple weeks ago. Santa called and said it's time for me to get off the naughty list. The only way that I could do that is to give him more picks like Detroit beating up on Dallas last night, and that I have to start the Dattitude podcast right now. Well, I like electronics, fat guy, so I guess that means I'll hit the button now.
If you're looking for the latest scoop and in-depth interviews on the Saints, the NFL, the Pelicans, LSU, along with the best bets of the week, then lucky you. Along with high-powered, in-the-know guests who cover our teams, Jim Derry brings plenty of Dattitude. And he'll always tell you the way it is, or at least the way he thinks it is.
Hey, you at Dattitude family. Are you just about done with the coaching changes talk, the coaching carousel spinning round and round? Well, you're in for a treat, because hopefully this will be the last one of these for a while, or maybe not. Who knows? What I do know is that this is Dattitude, episode number 447, presented by Evangeline Securities for a Friday, December the 5th. I'm living in the past. Back to the present. December the 5th, 2025. I'm your host, Jim Derry, 35 years in the New Orleans sports media scene. I thank you for becoming a part of the Dat family. We got all kinds of stuff going. I'm sick of talking about coaching. I really am. So hopefully this is it. We've been telling you that for the last, we told you Wednesday that we were pretty sure that the people with money wanted Blake Baker, and Matt Moscona was telling you that the AD wanted Napier, and Napier went off to James Madison, and I think it was just my opinion, you wouldn't take James Madison if you thought you were going to get the Tulane gig. That's just my opinion. So I think it was pretty clear that the people with money won out. You could shake your head all day long, Gabe. There's no way on planet Earth someone's taking James Madison over Tulane. It ain't happening. Oh, wait, I forgot. I'm a Tulane blowhard. So there's that. Maybe that's why I'm thinking that. Look, we'll get into it. Zach Ewing's coming on a little bit. You know what is special about our show today? Every day, all the time. You can be a part of today's episode and every episode by typing in your comment, whether you watch it on YouTube or Facebook. And yeah, I'm actually now pandering for money, by the way. We have turned on. Some of you have been asking. So those of you have been asking, here's your chance. We are finally monetized on YouTube. You can send in super chats and help feed my family. That's right, baby. I am not too proud to beg. So anyway, I'm just kidding. I'm not begging. If you would like to, you are now welcome and free to send in the super chats. We really did monetize. We had monetized on Facebook a couple weeks ago. I don't really talk about it because I don't even know if it's going to be a big deal or not. But now we can officially make money on YouTube. I have not figured out how it works. I am also going to have, at some point, I'm going to start a membership, do members only stuff. I haven't figured all that out yet. We're getting there. I just became independent a week ago. You see, we got a new sponsor there. If you've missed the show Wednesday, we'll tell you about them in just a minute. But you can type in your comments and look, even if you don't, if you do them for free, I'm still going to show them. Okay. So only, I'm going to show them whether you paid it to show them or not show them. I'm probably going to show them. And we could talk. You know how to find me on X at Jim Derry Jr. Jim at jimderry.com is my email. We're live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11 a.m. Central Time. By the way, you need to subscribe to the YouTube page, not only just for the live shows, or you can watch them after the fact, but we've been putting a lot of shorts up. We've been doing fantastic with our best bets as of late. Not just the best bets that we give you on today's show later today with the Pick'em crew, but Gabe and I, when we agree, we've told you this multiple times that it's week 14. You don't have much time left to listen. When Gabe and I agree on something, when we tell you we got a best bet, I don't know, Gabe, we got to be batting like 70%. I think it's pretty close on primetime games. And what did we tell you Wednesday? It wasn't one of Gabe's best bets, but he liked Detroit. I loved Detroit last night -3. Absolutely loved Detroit -3. When I tell you these things, it means I'm betting on them too. When I tell you this is a best bet, it means I am betting on these things too. And let's just say it's been a good year. So you're missing out. We don't just give you best bets on Friday. We give you a Monday Night Football best bet on Monday and our Thursday night best bet on Wednesday. And we are ablazing. So anyway, did you watch the game last night? It was interesting. It's bye-bye Dallas time, right? Their odds went from making the playoffs. So I think it was like 28 or 30%, somewhere around that before the game started. And I said, I thought it was around 10%. And now it's officially, according to whatever analytics you believe, the Cowboys now have a 9% chance of making the playoffs. They are donezo. I don't even think if they win out, I don't think they can make it now. If they win out, they would be, the best they can do is 10-6-1. They have 4 games left. Yeah, they ain't making. First of all, they ain't winning out. I know their schedule is easy the rest of the way, but even if they win out, they're not 10-6-1. 10-6-1 is not going to be good enough to get in the playoffs in the NFC. I don't think it could be. It might be. They still could make it, but they got a tough road to hoe as far as teams that are ahead of them. I mean, 9%. If you want to bet it, you want to bet it. Gabe says X chats are showing up. Okay, we'll get to comments in just a minute, and then lastly, unless you type it in a comment, I could tell you this is the last time that I'm going to talk about this today. We will get into this more, but the Pelicans are just awful. They take on the Nets tomorrow afternoon during the SEC Championship game. What do you think people are going to, even Pelicans fans, do you think Pelicans fans are going to be watching the Pels at 3-19 or 3-20, whatever the hell their record is, as they play the Nets on the road? Or you think they're going to watch the SEC Championship game? Tough one. I know which one I'm going to be watching. And it's not the Pelicans. I'm just saying. So anyway, that's going on tomorrow. And all the conference championship games, again, which begin tonight. We're going to talk about one of the big ones as Tulane obviously taking on North Texas. Tulane Duck coaches, Eric Morris also going for North Texas. He's leaving. He is going to Oklahoma State to take over for the Mullet. Well, the Mullet got fired back in September, but you know what I mean. Anyway, he's going to be the Cowboys head coach. Maybe be better than Brian Schottner. I'm going to pull Zach Ewing's chain, by the way, later on. Boy, Zach was like really pissed when the Cowboys kicked the field goal last night. I mean, I was happy because it basically ensured that I was going to win my bet unless Dallas somehow came back and forced overtime. But boy, was he pissed. All right, as we get going here this morning, I'm getting ready to jump into the comment stream. But I want to tell you about our newest sponsor in case you missed it on Wednesday. You see the logo down at the bottom of the screen. How about Joe DiStefano Insurance? Yes, we are still brought to you by Evangeline Securities, but our newest segment sponsor, and we're going to have more going forward. I'm going to make a commercial for him. Hopefully that will debut on Monday, but since I have not had time to do so just yet, I definitely want to introduce you to my friend. No matter whether you are in and around the New Orleans area, if you own a small business of fewer than 20 employees, you know how tough it is to get the best rates on health insurance. That's when you will want to give Joe DiStefano a call. We have known each other for almost 40 years. That's right. We're both old. It's okay. 40 years we've known each other. And I can tell you, not just spouting this off, he is someone that I trust. Look, health insurance shouldn't be a one-size-fits-all. And with Joe, you get access to PPO networks and flexible plans designed to fit you, not just the cookie cutter mold. Joe is licensed and local, but he can help you no matter where you live and operate. From preventative care to peace of mind, we'll tailor a plan that works for your life today and tomorrow. Call Joe DiStefano at 504-234-2132 to protect what matters most. That's 504-234-2132. And if you can't remember it, it is on the screen here live. All right, it's time to get started. And you're right. First comment here is a comment from X. Is Blake Baker from Kenny Buckler? Thank you for the comment. Is Blake Baker going to Tulane? I left and I'm going to put this back up on the screen in case you missed the title slide. Blake Baker going to Tulane. Blake Baker to Tulane is the little, the top head. We call it a subhead. I added the question mark last minute because I'd be lying if I said I was 100% sure, but I'd put it at about 96%. Again, these are things that we told you. We told you this already. We told you, Wednesday, and I was talking about it on Monday as well. The people that I have heard from, the people that I know, the people with the money at Tulane wanted Blake Baker from the get-go. That's who they wanted. They wanted Blake Baker. Now, the AD, according to Matt Moscona, wanted Billy Napier. He wanted a coach that had head coaching experience. It looks like the people with the money ended up winning out. Earl, thank you so much. Earl's Picks, you were the first to do you got a super sticker. $5 contributed to the Dattitude podcast. We thank you so much, Earl's Picks. And Earl is a regular here, and we thank you so much for being part of the Dat family. Our first one. Gabe, let's give him a round of applause. Wait, you know what? I actually have this here. I think don't we have? Thank you, sir. All right. Back to the comment stream here this morning. So in answer to your question, Kenny Buckler, is Blake Baker going to Tulane? I'd say it's almost a fait accompli. Slow, who dat? Good Friday morning to all you. That's SLO, California. Looking forward to a live discussion today. It should be a good discussion. Zach Ewing, come on in just a little bit. Brian Esteve, good morning, Dattitude family. UBN is here, and he's also in the green room. Well, he's actually not. His chair is in the green room. He went off to, I don't know, who knows, dude, know who's what. Such a beautiful, miserable day for all you people who love this BS. It is cold and nasty outside, and I love it. I don't necessarily love the nasty. I'm not a fan of the rain, but I do like cold weather. As long as it's not like below freezing. If it's not below 32, I like it. Here's where we are. Chad Gage. Good morning, Chad Gage. Dale Almond, 2617. You need to have Jeff Duncan on your show next week so you can call him a hater or a moron about Olave. On their podcast this week, he said, quote, to me, he is an ideal number 2 receiver, a really good number 2 wide receiver. I've said this. If I said it once, I've said it 100 times. And I know we got haters. Jeff Duncan's that's not really a hater comment. Lots of people saying that. Chris Olave, I'll ask Zach what he thinks. Number 7 in the NFL in receptions. Number 15 in the NFL in receiving yards. There's no question. I mean, if you go by wide receiver 1, that means you're one of the, in my opinion, one of the top 32 receivers in the NFL. You tell me if you think that wide receiver 1 definition is different. Chris Olave is number 7 in receptions, number 15 in receiving yards. To me, that's clearly number 1 receiver. You don't agree? I welcome your reply, as Phil Johnson used to say. Brian Cavett, happy dreary Dat Friday. Going on tonight, it's high school, LHSA high school semifinals weekend. There are going to be a lot of rainy, nasty games going on out there. I'm going to be at one of them. We'll talk about that later. Happy dreary Dat Friday. Baker to Tulane would be a huge loss and a huge get at the same time. I know it will be great for Tulane. How it affects LSU, well, that's a different story. I say goodbye. You say hello. Hello, hello. Yeah. I know y'all don't want to hear me sing, but that's really what today's show is. A lot of it's going to be about. Hello, Blake Baker. Going to Tulane. Tulane's got themselves a get. LSU, meanwhile, has got some work to do. Is that going to affect the recruiting situation? We'll see. Mark Gapsky, good morning. What is my early prediction on the spread? Saints versus Titans. Will we be favored on the road? That's a good one. It depends. It depends. I think if the game were to be played this week, man, that's a tough one. I'd say it'd be pick 'em. Saints Titans on a neutral site. I think Saints would be like -2, maybe -3, which means they'd probably be -1.5 at Tennessee. It's iffy. Gives the Saints no way. Saints -3 on the road, not a chance. No way. No way. That's next. No, it's not next week. It's 2 weeks from now, right? No. 3 weeks from now because they come home for a two-game homestand. Then they go to Tennessee in 3 weeks. I think if the Saints find a way to, if the Saints win their next, they're not going to win this. Well, and I don't want to give spoiler alerts, but I don't think they're going to win this week. I don't even know if I hope they win this week because I got Tampa in my knockout pool. That's a whole different story. Not that I'm necessarily, whatever. I don't think 3.5. I think a lot of things would have to happen. I think Tennessee would have to continue they'd have to be 1-14, which is a possibility. And the Saints would have to win at least 1, maybe 2 to be a 3.5-point favorite on the road. I don't think so. Yeah, I saw that Carolina's, they're only +3, but that's at home against Carolina. Because the moronic people who bet money, who have basically had a bad year for the most part, by the way, they just don't believe in Carolina yet. They're still not believing in Carolina. I don't know. We'll see. But and to answer your question, Mark, I think that if it were this week, I would probably say it would be pick 'em. That's what I would have. Christopher Crump, who dat Friday? I think the Saints are going to upset the Bucs 28-24. Already with the predictions, you're a little early, my friend. We'll get there. Fat Boy Slim says this is bad. You mean Blake Baker? If you're an LSU fan, it ain't good. Mark Satanovich wants to know, can Tulane shock the football? They wouldn't shock the football world tonight. They're only 2.5-point underdogs. They're not going to shock the world by winning. Come on, man. Let's tone down. Shock the world? No. Charles Mangus, good morning. You were writing about the game last night. We told you Detroit really wanted the game. Look, it's not that Dallas didn't. We just told you that when it comes down to a game that matters so much between two teams, as it did between Detroit and Dallas last night, I don't think there's any question Detroit is a better team than Dallas. What did y'all think about I'm just gonna wind Zach's change. He should be on any minute. When it comes, as soon as he gets in the green room, I'm probably gonna put him in. But I'm gonna wind his crank a little bit. What did y'all think about in this new age of we don't kick field goals? Schottenheimer deciding to kick a field goal to make it a 7-point game when it was 4th and 3 at the 10 or 11, something like that. Zach was just lost his mind. Charles says there was a commercial before the show started. Is that new? Was there? I guess that's what happens when you monetize. I have no idea, Mark. Charles, I don't know if I don't know. Am I thinking about charging members to chat? No, it's completely optional. But now you have I have had people, such as we saw Earl donate there. I have had people ask about super chats. It's common among people who do this for a living to monetize your page. And that's what we're doing here. So it may throw up ads at different times. I don't know exactly how it works. I have done some research, but I think it's one of those things, until you actually start doing it, you don't know how it is going to work. I know there are going to be ads for people who watch me after the fact. Now it's going to be different than it was before. There will be definitely ads on after the fact when you're not watching me live. I don't think it puts ads on live I don't think it puts on ads live. I don't think. But if it is, you can comment that in the chat too as well. But I know it's going to put ads on after. I've tried to set it where it asks me medium, high, or low on how many ads I want to be shown. You obviously make more money if you put it on high, and I put it on low. So hopefully it won't put a ton of ads in there if you're watching on YouTube. But that's what the Dad family, and I got to eat, I got to eat. So that's what we're doing here. Nola Rebel says, what is holding up the Blake Baker, Frank Wilson, and Corey Raymond announcements? Is Baker waiting to announce after tonight's game? The answer to the first part of that with Blake Baker is, I think the announcement could come before the game. I truly do. I don't necessarily think they're waiting for anything. I don't think it's because of the game. Now, you probably would have some. I mean, you don't want to cause any distraction. Would that cause a distraction? I don't know. I don't think it causes a distraction for. I mean, Tulane's going to be focused on the game. I don't think it's going to cause any distraction. So we'll see. It's either going to be this afternoon or it's going to be tomorrow morning. That's my opinion. Frank Wilson and Corey Raymond, I don't know, man. It all comes down. What were we talking about on Wednesday's show? Is there going to be a spot for Frank Wilson? Because Frank Wilson isn't staying unless he can also coach on the field. Corey Raymond, they got to find a way to keep both Frank Wilson and Corey Raymond. In my opinion, look, this is important, and I know this will sound crazy to some people, as important as Blake Baker was to this football team. And he's very important to LSU, and it's going to be a big loss, and Lane Kiffin's going to struggle trying to find someone to take his place. It's not going to be easy. But I think Frank Wilson and Corey Raymond are more important. Why? Because they are fantastic, just incredibly insanely good recruiters. And so I think that they're going to miss those guys just as much, in my opinion. I'm actually going to switch the slide here because we're going to spend a lot of time. This is kind of where we're going this morning. Again, as soon as Gabe gets in here, as soon as Zach gets in here, we are going to put him in the show. Fun fact, Gabe says LSU has never won a national title with Frank Wilson on his staff. However, that may be true, but you know what also is true? They've won with a lot of players he's recruited, even when he wasn't here. Earl says, thank you so much for giving us 3 great shows. Again, I'll show super sticker. Thank you for helping out here and being the first to for the super chat. All right. Ray Ponop says, at least you can hear me. OTT and Hanny need an engineer. I'm not sure. What does that mean, Gabe? Do you know? We having sound issues that I don't know about? I don't know what that means. Let's see. Brian Cabot also talking about the Saints thinking about a draft. The draft say edge is the number 1 priority. You say the other day, that's absolutely not my priority. Edge is way down the list, Brian. What would my number 1 priority be? Exclude quarterback. Well, I am going to exclude quarterback because I don't think there's any chance that the Saints draft a quarterback. I think that we're locked in now. I mean, I think Tyler Shuck is almost a fait accompli that he's going to be the starting quarterback on opening day of 2026. Not saying whether I think it should be. I actually kind of think it should be now. So I'm not even debating whether I think it should be. But the answer is, I think they either need a playmaker, a wide receiver, or a running back, or they need to trade down and get a guard. And I know people don't like that. It's not sexy. They keep drafting offensive linemen. Just telling you what they need. It's going to be an interesting situation if they sit there at 3, which is about right now. If the Saints drafted, if this draft was today, I think the Saints would be the 3rd pick of the draft. Just saying. Charles, I'm going to show this one last time. Why are there advertisements on my site now? That's how people make money. I'm independent now. Okay, I'm trying to be mean. I'm trying to explain this to you as best I can. I'm an independent now. I no longer have a regular income from my former employer. I am an independent now, and when you're an independent, you need to make money by having ads. The way to avoid that, if you're on YouTube, by the way, if you want to avoid that, and I can tell you, I'm not just giving a plug to YouTube. I've done this for a few months. I did it on a trial basis at first and loved it and kept it. And I think it costs $12.99 a month. YouTube Premium is fantastic. If you spend a lot of time on YouTube, like I do, I watch more YouTube than I watch anything else. And I mean that. I mean, I spend my evenings watching YouTube. I have YouTube TV and I hardly ever watch. I don't watch a lot of network TV anymore. That includes ESPN or anything else. I mean, sometimes I watch news here and there. I have it for my local channels as much as anything. But I watch YouTube probably 60 to 65% of the time. And I could tell you the $12.99 a month or whatever I'm spending for YouTube Premium to not have ads is 100% worth it. There's my free plug for YouTube. Maybe they'll sponsor the show. Barry Ulay, good morning. Let's see what else we got going on here this morning. Am I missing anything? Let's see. Ryan says it does throw commercials on live. If you have Moscona live on YouTube, there will be about 20 minutes or so. I don't know, y'all. I'm sorry if that's the case. Chad wants to know how do you donate, or maybe you can tell him how to do it. I think there's a button there's a button on the page that you're watching somewhere that you can click. I guess I should have known that before I came on today. Ryan Ashe also says he wants Wilson to stay with the running back room. Has been a disappointment for a bit. Not saying that's his fault, but he is the running back room. That's true. He is the running back coach. You got a point. I mean, that's definitely true. I mean, they got Harlan Berry, and that's great. And, you know, Caden Durham's been probably was a surprise last year. Hasn't done as much this year. But you're right. Running back has kind of been a disappointment to some extent. I get it. Completely understand where you're coming from. Lewis Jacobson said, good morning. My buddy got a job with the Colts. He's not my buddy. Come on, man. Blake Groupie is not my buddy, if that's who you're talking about. I'm assuming that's what you mean. Let's see what he can do. You like the Jags. I think someone else here likes the Jags today. We'll see. Coming up in the pick'em. It's not me. I'm stayed away. I wouldn't touch that game with a stick. Let's see. Blake Groupie deserved another chance. If somebody needed a kicker, I think he's a fine choice to come in and fill in. But the Saints needed to make a change, and they did. Robbie Otan says O-line is what the Saints need. I mean, I am torn, okay? And again, we're going to spend a lot of time talking about the draft going forward. We're going to spend a whole lot of time talking about the draft. But I got to say, I know it's not sexy, and I know people don't want this, but you got to think O-line is the most. That's my opinion, right? What's the worst spot on the field for this team right now? I don't think there's any question whatsoever. There's no question whatsoever. It's interior line of the interior line, offensive line for the Saints is just horrendous. It's terrible. That's where I would go. I know it's not in the MO, but that's what I would do. I would trade down, and I would get a guard, and then maybe you can even get another number one pick. I don't know. What do the Saints really need? They need a playmaker, and they need an interior lineman. I think the front of the defensive line has been much better. That's not a priority. Chad Gage, thank you so much. I gotta show this. $20, man. Thank you so much. Chad Gage obviously is a regular here. He's been with us for a while now. Thank you so much, Chad, for the donation. We truly appreciate it. Going back to some of the comments here. Apathy says there's only two players they better draft. Reese or Jordan Tyson if he comes out. Look, I get it. I understand. I'm just telling you that's not where I would go. Okay? I don't. And Tyson is a receiver. I get it. But I would rather them go offensive line, and running back would probably be my next choice because Kamara is gone, right? I mean, who thinks Kamara's coming back? I don't. I mean, do you really think Kamara's coming back? I don't think Kamara's coming back. So that's probably the direction that I would go in. Is the kid from Notre Dame still going to be around when the Saints draft? If they hold on to that pick, obviously, but do you want to draft the running back that high? Probably not. Where do you think he goes, Gabe? Running back from Notre Dame. I'm going to get his prediction on that because, I mean, I think he would fit in great in black and gold. He says draft slot is what I'm talking about. Like what number draft slot? Yeah, not where he's going. Late first, he says. So see, if the Saints trade down, then they have a choice. Maybe they can get both things accomplished. Maybe if you trade down to 18 or 20, maybe you can and get another first round pick to go with it. Some kind of way. I mean, the Rams are going to have 2 first round picks, and they're going to have the Falcons pick. So maybe they say, you know what? Maybe we trade our own pick. Maybe the Rams trade their own pick, or maybe they trade both of those picks and move up into the top 3 if that's where the Saints are. I don't know. There's lots of options for the Saints team coming up in this draft. I'm excited to find out what it's going to be because I don't know the answer. Hold on as I type in on live TV. Y'all know how I do this. Live TV, baby. We may have to do pick them first. Zach doesn't come soon. What else we got here? Ricardo, 44. You're excited to see Coach Kiffin on game? Is he on game day tomorrow? Did I miss that? Ugh. Y'all know I'm not excited about this at all. I'm trying not to. Barry says ads don't bother him as long as the show continues. We're not going anywhere, my friend. I'm telling you, I said this the other day, and I mean it. For those, especially for the regulars, I am more positive about our future today on December the 5th than I was the day before I got canned, and I had no idea that I was getting canned from NOLA.com. I'm serious, and I'm dead serious. I am more positive about where we're going today, and not just we got Joe DeStefano Insurance, we got Evangeline. As of today, it's still the title sponsor. We got a couple other people jumping on the ship. It's coming. I'm super confident about where we're going. What else we got here this morning? A-Town is here. You just got an ad for Pete's Sandwich Shop, the home of the Crow Po' Boy. I haven't had to eat a Crow Po' Boy since Derek Carr did his little thing. Did he just say Derek Carr in the air? Yeah. GTB 2710. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Very much appreciated. $5. Thank you so much. Rocky. What's up, Rock? $10. Come on, man. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas. We appreciate you so much. All you people with the donations, thank you so much. Hudson wants to know, good hire? Absolutely. I mean, what's up, Hudson? How are you, sir? Thank you for joining. Absolutely. It's a great hire. How can it not be? You know who I'm going to ask if he thinks it's a great hire? I'm going to write to him. He jumped into the green room.
You're right.
Throw him right. Sorry if I interrupted. Seriously. Good morning. It is still morning. It's 11:30. Good morning, sir. How are you? And I'm going to stir your chain and just go ahead. But go ahead. I'm going to pull your.
I'm
chain.
fine. I'm busy times, man. I'm headed out to Tulane tonight to see the American Championship game, so that'll be fun.
Are you?
Yeah. And we got the coaching carousel. We got it's just never slows down.
Christopher Crump, thank you so much for the donation. We appreciate it. $5, Christopher Crump. All right. I'm gonna start with this. You saw the game last night. I couldn't wait to talk to you about this. The coaching decisions there in the final couple minutes last night. I know how happy you are that they kicked the field goal. They're down 10. It's 4th and 3. I don't know, like the 11-yard line or something along those lines. I mean, come on, man.
Okay. You're down by 10 points. What was there, 3.5 minutes left, something like that?
Yeah, it was like 3.5 minutes.
You need a touchdown and a field goal. We all know that. And so that's what people are. Just kick the field goal now and you'll get the touchdown later. Will you, though? Will you get the touchdown later? Because, there's only 3.5 minutes left in the game. You're not probably getting down to the 11-yard line again. Best case scenario when you kick that field goal, the best case is you end up getting the ball back and having to go for a 4th and 8 or a 4th and 7 or something from the 4 instead of a 4th and 3 from the 11. That's the best case. The worst case is you kick the field goal and Detroit goes down the field like crap through a goose and is in field goal range in 2 plays, which is what happened. And the game's essentially over at that point because all they need is a field goal to go back up by 2 scores. So I don't understand what Brian Schottenheimer was doing. He also did it at the end of the first half where he had a 4th and 4 and chose to kick a long field goal instead of just going for it with like 55 seconds left. And so, yeah, Brandon
Aubrey's got the greatest kicker on the planet.
I think that's the problem. I think as soon as he's inside the 45, he's like, well, shoot, we're in field goal range. I don't need to take any chances. And when you're playing a team like Detroit, that is a big problem because you need touchdowns. You don't need field goals. And so lo and behold, what happened? Yeah, Brandon Aubrey kicked the 53-yard field goal, and Detroit went down and got its own field goal in the last 50 seconds of the half, and you gained nothing. So you might as well have gone for it. You don't win.
Even though I disagree with you, I understand your point, and I knew that would rile you up. That's how I wanted to get this segment started this morning. By you fired up. Exactly. It's somebody else's blood pressure is up, not mine this morning. By the way, Charles Magus, thank you so much for the $5. Truly appreciate you. You have been a regular for well over a year. We appreciate you coming in here every day. Real quick, Logan, my friend Logan wants to know, what do we think of his favorite potential DC replacement for Blake Baker? And again, we're saying this as if it's going to happen. I say it's 98% done. I think it's going to happen. But let's assume, and I know you might not be ready to. Y'all would have reported that it's happened if it's 100% and you have not. But let's assume for this show that it does happen, that Blake Baker is the next Tulane coach. What do you think of a replacement? I mean, Lane Kiffin's in a spot now. If this is the case, Danny Gonzalez, who's currently the defensive coordinator at Arizona.
Yeah, I mean, I think he used to be the head coach at New Mexico.
New Mexico. Right, yeah, New Mexico.
Yeah. I think he's a good coach. I think there's probably quite a few good options out there. You know, the big name that we've heard is Fran Brown at Syracuse,
right?
Who could be a potential replacement for Baker. I don't know. I think the good thing about Lane Kiffin, one of the good things about him is he's been everywhere. He's got a ton of connections. This is an attractive job. He's going to have people interested in it. So I think, yeah, Gonzalez might be a good hire, but I'm not even sure he's the best hire.
Yeah, well, I think they're going to be, like you said, plenty of candidates in the beginning. We talk about not talking about the coaching carousel. We're going to have to talk about the defensive coordinator carousel because that is going to be obviously a big deal. LSU turned the corner. Remember how terrible they were on defense just a couple of years ago, and Baker just changed everything. I mean, to me, he's the reason why LSU wasn't like 3-9 the last couple of years, in my opinion. Brian Cabot, thank you so much for the $5. We much appreciate it. Real quick, Earl's Pick says he has Aubrey on his fantasy team. He loved it, by the way. I'm thinking a lot of people, by the way, who bet on Detroit, Zach, also loved it because that basically assured Detroit was -3.5 if you got him right before the game when it was announced that Amon-Ra St. Brown was going to play. It went from 3 to 3.5. But those of you who had the 3 or the 3.5 for that matter, you were really appreciated that they kicked the field goal because it meant that unless Dallas was able to come back and tie it up and go into overtime, you were pretty much guaranteed to win. You went from being maybe a 60% chance or 50 to 60% chance to win or cover or at least push to, I don't know, jumped to what, 80, 90% after?
Yeah. People talk about George Pickens point shaving that game. Brian Schottenheimer was freaking point shaving. I don't know. And I didn't bet on I bet the over, which hit. So I was fine, but I did not understand that decision. And I see Gabe's chat. He's right. Fran Brown is the head coach at Syracuse. I meant Elijah Robinson, who's the defensive coordinator at Syracuse, who LSU would be interested in. They're not getting, I mean, LSU's a good program. I doubt they're getting a sitting Power 5 head coach to come in and be a coordinator. That's right. Probably not happening. So yeah, I meant Elijah Robinson.
Charles says he's been here for over 2 years. Where we appreciate, you know, that I'm a huge fan of yours, Charles, and you have been one of the first regulars when I actually had I went back and so I was going through the YouTube page from when we first started this page. This page, for people who don't know, the YouTube page here, it started as the Bayou Bets YouTube page when we were struggling. Remember when we were like, we got 100 subscribers. We were all excited because we got 100 subscribers. And I was going back and look at some of the shows that we had in the beginning, and we get like, 5 views or 7 views or whatever. And to think how far it's come, how far we've all come since then, starting there. But yeah, so Charles was on as soon as we basically started this thing as Dattitude, and kind of went from Bayou Bets to Dattitude and had them both on at the same time. It's been quite a crazy ride for both of us the last 4 years.
Yeah. It's difficult to grow these channels when they're starting from nothing.
It is.
It's
It is
very difficult. So I give you a lot of props for that.
I appreciate it. All right. Let's talk about Blake Baker. Where is you guys are right now with NOLA.com, the Times-Picayune, and the Advocate? Where is it currently? Where does it stand with y'all right now, as far as you know, or what are you comfortable saying?
I will say we have, what's the best way to put this? We have not heard from the level of sourcing necessary to confirm that is what's happening. It is my expectation that it will happen.
That's a fair way to put it. So if that were to happen, let's talk about the Tulane side of it again tonight as they go into the American Championship game tonight against North Texas, where they're a slight underdog. What do you think this does for Tulane? And to me, this would be the third really good hire in a row for them. Obviously, Willie Fritz kind of helped transform the program into being what they were able to become and go to the Cotton Bowl and all those sorts of things. And then Jon Sumrall, if it was even possible, I think kind of took them to the next level. Can Blake Baker, at the bare minimum, keep them at this level where Jon Sumrall has taken them to where they are maybe the non-Power 5 school? If you're looking at which school is at the top of the list for consistency, I think you'd say Tulane, at least over the last half decade, is there.
Yeah, the only difference with this one and why it's a little riskier, in my opinion, is that Blake Baker has never been a head coach. That's really the only difference. And so you're always rolling the dice a little bit. That doesn't mean it can't work. We've seen guys go from being coordinators to being head coaches. Ryan Day did it at Ohio State, for heaven's sake. Dan Lanning has done it at Oregon. Really high-level programs where it has worked. But there's also numerous examples of coordinators who are just better suited as coordinators. We just had a head coach here on Airline Drive that is the poster boy for that. I mean, some guys are just better as coordinators. I think Blake Baker seems like the kind of guy who would be a good head coach. I could see why he would interview well. He's got a lot of energy. His defenses obviously have played well at LSU, and even before that, some very good defenses at Missouri in the SEC. And, he's been successful everywhere he's been, but he has never, ever been a head coach. Going all the way back to, I'm looking at his Wikipedia page. He started his coaching career at Clear Springs High School in Texas as the wide receivers coach. Then he was, which is interesting that he was a wide receivers coach. Then he was a GA at Texas. Then he's coached safeties and linebackers, and then become the defensive coordinator. But we'll see. I mean, that's the risky part to me.
Yeah, no, I think that's absolutely true. A fair thing. By the way, hello to my good friend, Jimmy Wollaston. Thank you so much for watching in on the show this morning. And I know you're here often as well. Thank you. I just think, if you're talking about what Tulane's MO has been, and they know that they're in a position now to where they could maybe go get someone they think that would be more likely to stay at Tulane, maybe someone older, and go for more stability, or they can put themselves in this position where they hire the likes of a Jon Sumrall or a Blake Baker, who is basically a rented coach, right? Even if you hire Blake Baker, to me, it's the same kind of thing. He's kind of a rented kind of coach, Zach. I mean, I don't think anyone would if he does well, but that's what you want. If he does well, then Blake Baker is going to probably move on to the next best thing, because obviously he's going to have aspirations to coach in the SEC. But that's okay, because if you're Tulane and you're able to keep getting these kinds of coaches and stay consistent like you've been, you have to accept what you are.
Correct. I mean, there is nothing wrong with being a stepping stone program, because, look, unless you're in the SEC or the Big Ten, that's what everybody is. And even some of the schools in the SEC and the Big Ten are like that, frankly. I mean, like, I hate to say this is probably raw for some of the Ole Miss fans, but Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin used it as a stepping stone. Now, he did very good things there. If you were Ole Miss fan, would you have rather Lane Kiffin never come at all? No, of course not. He's brought you to levels of success that program hasn't seen in 60 years. So there's nothing wrong with that. Tulane has a Cotton Bowl victory in this time. Now they're playing for the American Conference Championship for the second straight year. Those are things that didn't even seem possible 10, 15 years ago. So the fact that these coaches have brought you there and then moved on, no problem with that. Now you're known as a guy, as a place that a guy can come in and get, have some success, get some publicity for himself, and move on to a Florida or a Houston or somewhere in a Power Four conference. And so it's a good place to be. I mean, same thing. Our advocate LSU football beat writers, like Ross Dellinger, was an LSU football beat writer for the Advocate. Now he's perhaps the most well-known college football writer in America. Brooks Kubina, who followed him, is now covering the Philadelphia Eagles, the Super Bowl champions, for The Athletic. Like that, we've had to continue to make new hires. That's okay. We keep getting good people because these people see where they can go from here, and so that's okay. That's a good thing.
Yeah. Completely true. Gabe Henderson, by the way, is reporting that On three is reporting that Penn State is finalizing a deal with Iowa State's Matt Campbell. Boy, Penn State is really, you want to talk about spit in the bit, but
that's good. That's actually a good hire.
I mean, that is a good hire, but I'm telling you, for them to go on as long as they've gone on with this, you can't be excited. And I'm not talking about Matt Campbell. I'm saying if you're a Penn State fan, you can't be excited with all these schools getting their coaches, and then here you come in December 5th. Well,
the big issue is how long it took, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can't. That's just kind of crazy talk.
Their signing day was a disaster. They got left at the altar by the BYU coach Kalani Sitake, which is
exactly
kind of embarrassing. So yeah, it's been embarrassing. But if Matt Campbell's who they land on, that's actually not bad.
Let's talk about what this does from the LSU perspective. I think we know what it does for Tulane. I think, again, I'll say it again, I think that it keeps Tulane on the same trajectory that they've been on with Jon Sumrall. It continues to have them as one of the, if not the top non-Power 5 school, one of the top 2 or 3. And I think they'll be in position again next year, probably in the same position with a chance to make the playoffs. What does it do for Lane Kiffin? We kind of touched on it, and we don't necessarily need to say who we think the possible replacements are, but what is going on? Obviously, from all the reporting that I've read and seen and everything else, and I know that Wilson Alexander's been all over this as well, but just Lane Kiffin, there's no question that the LSU wanted to keep Blake Baker. They offer him probably about the same amount of money that he's going to get in Tulane, and you can't blame Baker for saying, you know what, I want to be a head coach. I'd rather be a head coach at Tulane for $3.5 million or whatever it's going to be than go be defensive coordinator. But where does this lead Lane Kiffin?
I think he probably had to at least be prepared for this scenario. Obviously, he wanted to keep Blake Baker. I mean, Wilson heard that almost immediately, that they were in serious discussions to keep Blake Baker. I honestly think had it been any other group of 5 power head coaching job, Blake Baker would have stayed at LSU, but he's a Tulane guy. I know that one of his concerns, another thing Wilson's heard, is that he has a young family, that they don't really want to be moving a lot, but this is probably a different circumstance where they can kind of go back home. It's not a long move. They're going to be familiar with their surroundings. And so I think if it wasn't Tulane, he's probably in Baton Rouge next year, but it's just the one job that he was going to take.
Yeah. And we'll see what happens. Again, the bigger question is what Lane Kiffin does now. And I think it's kind of a thing where we'll see, and we'll talk about that more probably next week. Who knows? Maybe we'll even have an answer by the time we have Monday's show. I don't think so, but we'll see. Maybe there's an answer by Monday. All right. I want to get into the American Conference title game because I only want to spend a few minutes talking about the Saints. And we have about 10 more minutes with you this morning. Just talk about this game before we make our predictions, from a sense of, these two teams are it's an interesting matchup. They did not play in the regular season. North Texas is high flying. They have been scoring points like nobody's business. Tulane has been kind of crazy. I mean, just inconsistent is the only way that I can put it. To me, at times, Tulane has looked like, no question, the best non-Power 5 school in the country. And at times, they've looked like just a mediocre American Conference team. So I just don't know which team is going to show up tonight.
Yeah, Tulane's been really hard to predict, especially like, you ask me for my scores on the local teams every week, and they're always the one where I'm kind of like, I don't know how they come out. They've been big favorites a lot of the time, so it's easy to pick them to win. But as far as how they're going to play has been difficult. And North Texas is a tough matchup. If there are certain computer rankings that if you look at, North Texas is one of the top 20 teams in the nation. Tulane's nowhere near that in a lot of these. I know in the college football playoff rankings, Tulane's ranked higher. But if you just look at the data, North Texas is considered the stronger team, even against the schedule they've played. And that would be the argument for Tulane. Is like Tulane's played Northwestern, they played Duke, they played Memphis. North Texas' most difficult opponent was South Florida, and South Florida drilled them. They couldn't stop South Florida. They couldn't stop a nosebleed. So I think that's the argument for Tulane. But yeah, it is scary to think what happens to the Green Wave if North Texas gets that passing attack going. They jump out to a 10 or 14-point lead, and then Tulane's forced to play catch-up. That is a role they haven't been in a lot, and when they have been in that role, they have not been good. Look at UTSA. Ole Miss.
I was going to say, you saw what happened against UTSA.
North Texas is probably going to win this game.
Yeah, we saw what happened against Texas San Antonio just 3 or 4 weeks ago, whenever that game was at San Antonio. That was on a Friday night as well. By the way, I don't know if you know this, Zach, but you're lagging a little bit. Your video is not caught up to your audio, I think. So
okay, well, I won't dance or anything, but
okay, please
the
don't.
internet in the studio is absolutely horrible, so I apologize for that.
No problem, but I just wanted to give the viewers, there's a reason why it looks like it looks. All right, it's time to get to our picks with Tulane, and as we do each week, we pick LSU, Tulane, and the Saints. LSU, obviously, they're done until the bowl game. Do we even care about the bowl game? We'll talk about that later. But American title game tonight. Zach, I'm going to let you go first, as I always do, and close your eyes, Tulane fans. What you got?
I mean, like I said, I'm an analytics guy. I look at North Texas and see them as a stronger team. Tulane's had trouble stopping good offenses at times this year. And again, I just worry if North Texas gets any sort of separation, you're forcing Jake Retzlaff to throw the ball. You're forcing Tulane to play catch up. The Greenies are going to score points. I don't doubt that. But I just think if North Texas is able to get out to separation, they win this game. And on the flip side, if Tulane gets out to a lead, North Texas is more than capable of coming back on them. And so when I look at that, I just find it more probable that North Texas wins this game. I know that's not what the home crowd wants. It's one of the bigger, probably the biggest home game in Tulane history, right? Or at least in recent history. Yeah. And so I'm sure that crowd's going to be geeked up and ready to go. But I think North Texas is the better team. That's my pick.
It's at least the biggest home game since we've been alive. I mean, I didn't go back in the annals when they were in the SEC and stuff like that. I think they went to the Rose Bowl way back in the day. I don't know. So I mean, it's
undefeated in 1998, but
that's true. You could call it the 12-0. The game when they played BYU, yeah, maybe. But that's not a home game. I'm trying to think who they played that last game to stay undefeated. I don't know. This is definitely bigger. This is to go to the college football playoff, and obviously way out there with realistic possibilities. You give yourself a chance to win a national championship at Tulane. I mean, you have it in if they have their destiny. It's hard to believe this, but Tulane has their destiny for this season in their hands. If they win tonight, they're going to the playoffs, and then they have their destiny in their own hands. It's highly unlikely that they'll win a national championship, but they have it in their own hands. And although Gabe Henderson would say 0.0, I don't think anyone could officially say 0.0 chance to win the national championship.
But if we're using math and
0.1, baby,
it's probably 0.0 because if you're parlaying,
you think you would take 0.0 over 0.1?
I mean, if you're giving it's 0.000001, then yes, maybe. But if we're rounding, I'm rounding down to 0.0.
I'm trying to be nice, Zach. Come on now. I mean, I'm in a good mood after. I'm telling you, you don't know how much I got a kick out of you being the one that was fired up for a change last night with those calls and the coaching decisions last night. That really kind of made my night. I'm just saying, I was laughing. It helped me go to sleep last night. Brian says Tulane in a squeaker 37-33. UBN says North Texas 38-27. Charles Manga says Tulane 28-24. Infantryman is just happy to be here. He's saying happy Friday. Earl's Pick says, I think North Texas is better, but that Tulane still pulls it off. Interesting weather. We have not even talked about how the weather could affect the game. Brian Cavett says weather depending, lots of rain, 24-20 Tulane. I got to say, Brian, even with the weather and the nastiness and the cold and the rain and whatever it is, if you hold North Texas to 20 points, I'd be really surprised. Ryan O'Shea says he would go with 0.001 and David +1. Absolutely. So you're saying there's a chance? Absolutely, there's a chance. All right. Go ahead.
You want to do some quick math, Jim? What is the? I'm going to get my calculator out. What is the percentage chance Tulane beats? Let's say they play Ole Miss in the first round. What's the percentage chance they beat Ole Miss? I'm just going to go with whatever you say. 10%. Okay. So we're okay, and then let's say they beat Ole Miss and they go on to play Georgia in the. What's the percentage chance they beat Georgia?
4.
Okay, so we're multiplying that by 0.04. What's then in the semifinal?
Hold on. Stop doing the zero shit, Gabe. There's never zero. Anything can happen. There's not zero. Go ahead.
Okay, so we've got 10% and 4%. Now in the semifinal, they're going to play Texas Tech.
Oh, Texas Tech. That's probably their best chance to Texas Tech.
No, it's not. Texas Tech is legitimately very good.
In the semis from the other side? No.
Texas Tech is
Tulane is as close to 0%, and they're not 0. I'm never going to say 0, so I would say 1 against Ohio State. Against Texas Tech, I would say 2.
Okay, 2%, fine. And then against Ohio State in the national championship game, what percentage chance are we?
Wait, I forgot they got to play. They'd have to play 4 games, and then they'd have to play.
Yeah,
4
they would
games?
have to win 4 games. So we're going 1% against Ohio State.
I'm gonna go 1. Yeah.
Okay, we're giving them 1.
You agree with those percentages, by the way?
I think that's about right. Yeah, that's about right. So, and this is assuming they beat North Texas. Okay, so we're even giving
Texas Tech won't go far in the playoffs. I disagree.
Their percentage chance of winning the national championship if they get in and play a path of Ole Miss, Georgia, Texas Tech, and Ohio State. You could throw in other teams. It's probably about the same. 0.000000003. That is the percentage chance. So let's round and just call it 0.0.
So in other words, if somebody gives you, if they're plus 100,000 right now to win the national championship, you would not spend $1. No. Don't you dare lie to me and tell me you wouldn't spend it, because you would spend $1 on that.
No, I wouldn't.
Plus 100,000?
I can go buy a couple of gumballs for $1.
I mean, you want $100,000. You're not going to spend $1 on. I mean, your chances of winning the freaking knockout pool was probably somewhere around 0.00003.
I got my Texas Tech 30-1 ticket. I got an Alabama 10-1 ticket from preseason. I'm sitting on those.
Mac Daddy says that's fine, but who they beating in the playoffs? I'm just saying there's a chance.
It would be. This is all besides the point. Okay, I'm not trying to.
Nobody gave Hickory a chance to win the Indiana State basketball championship in 1940, whatever either.
That's because they didn't know how good they were. But the point is, for Tulane, it would be magical just to be there. Okay, that's the point. To be part of the dance. Tulane makes the 12-team playoff before LSU. Are you kidding me? You don't think their fans and boosters would love that?
Maybe Tulane runs the picket fence. They don't let the paint dry. Just saying. You never know.
Measure out the goalpost. Make sure it's the same height everywhere.
Just don't let your assistant coaches get drunk the night before the game. That's all. All right, it's time for my pick tonight. I have no idea I have literally no idea. I said this Wednesday. This might be the toughest game we've had to predict all year. I don't know what Tulane team comes out tonight. I don't know how the weather is going to affect this game. I don't know enough about North Texas. But I'm contractually obligated to make a pick anyway. So I'm making a pick. And that being said, since I have no idea, I'm just going to go with the home team. I'm going to predict Tulane to win, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I think that Jon Sumrall, and you're talking about two lame duck coaches. I also don't think that we factored that in as well. Eric Morris being gone, how much of a distraction has that been for North Texas? It could be a big distraction. I think it's lesser of a distraction at Tulane, because I think that it was pretty well known in September that this was going to be Jon Sumrall's lead. I think the entire season they've known that Jon Sumrall, this was his last year at Tulane. So, again, with that being said, and I think this is probably as toss-up as it gets, I'm going to take Tulane 34-32, and we'll just figure out who's right later. Anyway.
I feel pretty confident in this one, to be honest with you. But I really do hope I'm wrong. I hope Tulane wins it. I think you're right, though. I was talking with Jeff Duncan the other day. This might be the most consequential football game ever played between two lame duck head coaches. How could it not be?
That's a good point. Yeah, very well might be. Okay. That was our talk. We may or may not come back to Blake Baker later in the show, but that's all we have with Zach Ewing and all we have for Tulane here in this segment. That might be the most time we've spent on Tulane, and I'm not trying to, although we did have Glory on the show the other day. Yeah, they absolutely deserve it. They 100% deserve it. All right, let's move on to the New Orleans Saints, who we have really not talked about hardly at all this week. And they have a game this week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road, where they're the biggest dog of the week in the NFL. It's actually now tied with Arizona is playing, I don't know, the Rams maybe. The Arizona's hosting the Rams, I think. And that also is an 8.5-point spread now. It started off at 7.5 and jumped to 8.5. This line has stayed steady all week. The New Orleans Saints, look, I get that they lost again last week and they're 2-10 or whatever, but I think I've said this for weeks. I think the Saints have hit rock bottom. I think rock bottom was against the Rams. I think they have steadily gone up. It's probably a lot to do with Tyler Shuck, for me at least, but I think the defense has played pretty well overall the last few weeks as well. And look, I think this team is getting better as we go along.
I agree. I don't know about the entire team, but I agree that rock bottom is in the rearview mirror, and that Tyler Shuck is the main reason why. That he has shown me some signs, some very clear signs that he can be a successful quarterback in the NFL. Now, whether he ever actually gets there is going to depend on sort of his growth and his consistency. The first half last week was not good. There's been some throws he's made and some series he's had where he looks a little bit flustered, like the game speeds up on him a little bit still. But there's also been times where he's looked in control. He's pushed the ball downfield into tight windows. He's made the throws. And I do think the Dolphins had a little bit to do with that comeback last week. I thought that they were not particularly smart with a lead in that second half on offense or defense. But you got to give Shuck credit. I mean, like, he still took advantage of it and, led them to the brink of what would have been a really nice comeback win. So, yeah, I think they're headed in the right direction at the quarterback position. Everything else, man, I don't know. Like, we'll see. The injuries are starting to pile up on them.
I got a set of white walls on the other line.
Yeah. the injuries are starting to pile up on them, and I don't know if they're anywhere near being a good team, but at least if you have the quarterback, you have hope.
All right, before we get to the predictions, we've seen this movie already. The last time they played in the Dome, 4 weeks ago or 5 weeks ago, whatever it was. Spencer Rattler started the game. It was the game he got pulled. He made it into the first series of the third quarter, and we haven't seen him since, and it's been all Tyler Shuck since. And this game is just regardless of who the quarterback is, and it's going to be Shuck, but regardless of who the quarterback is, this just isn't a great matchup for the Saints. They're not going to be able to run the football. We got word on Kamara? I would have guessed he's not playing this week again. Do we know? We
haven't gotten the final injury report, but he has not practiced this week. I'd be surprised if he plays.
Yeah, I think we're both in the same boat. Neither one of us thinks Kamara is going to play, which means that Devin Neal is going to be your number one. But last week is your number one against the team you probably could run the ball against a little bit. They only ran it with Neal 14 times. I just don't think they're going to try to run the ball. I think they're going to have to abandon the run because Tampa Bay is not a team that you run on very well. In fact, I'm going to show and I showed this the other day, but ranks Tampa Bay has the 6th best rushing defense in the NFL. The Saints are 29th in running the football. Meanwhile, passing is even. 21st, the Saints are 21st. I'm sorry, they're looking at the wrong one. They're 20th in the league throwing the football. Tampa Bay is 29th against the pass. I just think it's going to be one of those games. I said this the other day. And Gabe said the other day, the over-under on Chuck pass attempts was 33.5. I think he's going way over. I think Chuck throws the ball 40 to 45 times in this game.
It's very possible. I think they will try to establish the run. It's interesting you have the stats up there because after the first meeting in which Tyler Shuck threw 30 passes just in the second half, not even the full second half of that.
Right.
Kellen Moore did say in the post game, I wish we had stuck with the run more. That was my mistake. We needed to do that. So I think he might be a little bit stubborn with it in the first half, depending on what the game flow and the score is, of course. I mean, we'll see. But they may be a little bit stubborn with you. I agree that to win the game, Saints are going to have to be successful passing the ball. Can they do it? I don't know.
But you play to win the game.
Part of the reason the Bucs passing defense is that bad is because they've played some of the best passing offenses in the NFL. They've played the Rams, they've played the Seahawks, they've played the Patriots, they've played the Bills, as have the Saints. But the Bucs have scored with those teams and sort of pushed them into shootouts, and so they've given up some big totals to some really good quarterbacks.
Yeah, look, I hear you. I agree. And by the way, if you want to get your prediction in, now's the time. We got about 3, maybe 4 more minutes here in this segment, and we're about to make our predictions. So if you want to get in on the predictions on the Saints Tampa Bay, now is your time to type in your score, and we'll show it here on the screen. I just think of all the matchups the Saints have this year, it's not the worst. I think the Rams, they could play the Rams 16 times, and I don't think they'd win one of them. Seattle's defense is good enough, and I'm not just saying this because Seattle knocked the crap out of them. Seattle and Buffalo both. I think they might win one if you played 16 times, but I think the Rams the worst. But this is up there. This is probably maybe the 4th worst matchup for the Saints. And I did on the road. What they've been able to do. They're getting Bucky Irving back. It's going to make it tougher on the Saints to stop them. I don't see the Saints winning this game, but I think they've been feisty enough to maybe keep it close. So anyway, with that, we'll get in our predictions. Before I show Zach's prediction, I will show a couple others. Brian Cavett says Saints get lucky and only lose by 10, 33-23. That's a lot of points. UBN says 37-17 Tampa. That's also a lot of points. Charles Manga says Bucs 31, Saints 24. Gabe says Bucs 27, Saints 19. I know there were a couple other ones. I apologize if I missed your predictions from before and didn't show them, but it's time for Zach's pick. And this week, what you got, Zach?
Very similar to Gabe's pick. Jeff Duncan was also in this neighborhood at 26-20. I think we'll see some improvement from the Saints offense. As I said, I think Tyler Shuck is kind of ready to break out. The rest of the league hasn't noticed it. Luke Johnson, our beat writer, has a tweet out about his rank among rookie quarterbacks since week 8 when he debuted. And he's like first or second in almost every major category among rookie quarterbacks. He's kind of quietly become, one of the best rookies in this class behind only Jackson Dart, and he's been hurt. And I don't know, Jackson Dart may not last long in this league with the attitude he's got. So I think the Saints are in a pretty good spot with him. And I think they're going to show some stuff. Ultimately, Tampa Bay's got to win this game. I mean, if they lose this game, they are tied with Carolina for the division lead, and the two teams play each other twice in the final 4 weeks, starting next week. So maybe Tampa Bay's looking ahead a little bit to that spot. But I just think if you're Tampa Bay, this is a bit of a must-win at home against a bad team, and ultimately they find the plays to get it done.
Yeah, this is one of Tampa's biggest games of the year thus far. I mean, they put themselves in a position to where they actually have to fend off Carolina, and that I think that just doesn't bode well for the Saints either. Maybe the Saints could sneak up on them if, like you said, if they were looking ahead and they didn't need to care as much, but. Excuse me, I don't think Tampa can afford to lose games right now. So the Saints have their full attention, I promise you. Earl's pick says the defense is playing really well, especially being on the field as much as they are. I agree. Chad Gage says Tampa Bay 31, Saints 23. Ron Hendrickson is copying off of Gabe's paper. Says Tampa 27, New Orleans 19. All right, my prediction this week, excuse me. You said you and Duncan were in the same ballpark, or we're like in the same section of the, we're both getting snowballs from the same concession stand. I say 27-23. I actually had 26-23, and I literally changed it because I'm like, we've been too similar with our scores. I'm like, I don't want to have the exact same Saints score. So I actually changed 26-23 to 27-23. And look, I think it's going to be that kind of game. I think that might be a little high. I might should have gone 24-20 or somewhere in the 24-19, somewhere in there. But I do think Shuck is going to throw the ball a ton. I hear what you're saying, and I think while they might try to run the football, Zach, I just don't think they're going to be able to run the football, and I think they're going to have no choice and realize that that's their only chance. By the way, is Evans back for the Bucs? It's highly unlikely. I think he's more likely to come back next week, Mike Evans, to come back. So anyway, my prediction, 27-23 Tampa Bay, and we're both picking the Bucs to win. We're both picking the Saints to cover.
It's always kind of scary when we're all in the same ballpark.
It means that we're usually wrong. Yeah.
There's been a couple times where we've been pretty close to right this year. This. I said Tulane's an unpredictable team. The Saints are actually a pretty predictable team. There's been a couple times they've surprised us to the good or bad this year, but this is actually a pretty predictable team, and I think they'll play decently well, but ultimately are not good enough to win a big game.
Yeah. All right. Well, next week we'll be talking about the Saints coming back home as they have their final homestand of the season. They will play Carolina next week. Yeah, they're Carolina. Currently they are only 3-point dogs to Carolina. That'll be an interesting game. We'll see how we pick that one, and who knows what else we'll be talking about next week. Zach, have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, Jim. See you then.
Zach Ewing, everybody. There he goes. We'll see him in the Dome for Saints in Carolina, and then I haven't decided. I don't know, y'all. What do you think? I don't know if I'm going to that Saints-Jets game. It's the Sunday before Christmas. It's the last home game. I get it. I mean, why would you want to miss Saints-Jets? Come on, man. It don't get no better than I could theoretically, and I'm still thinking about it. I could go see Saints-Jets in the Dome and then go visit Kevin Spain and see Saints-Titans the next week. I mean, that's one way you put on your bucket list. I saw Saints-Jets and Saints-Titans in back-to-back weeks. I mean, it don't get no better than that. You know what I'm saying? Apathy says, you want to hear something surprising? Chicago Bears as of December 5th are the number 1 seed in the NFC. You want to hear something that's not surprising? Go look at their schedule. They're about to crash and burn, baby. And it ain't because I'm hating on the Chicago Bears, okay? In 4 weeks from now, you're going to be saying, they are who we thought they were. Crap. In fact, before I call the guys in for our pick 'em, I want to call this up. Their schedule. I know they play the Packers twice. Here's their schedule the rest of the way, the last 5 weeks of the season. They ain't going to be the number 1 seed in the NFC when this is done. And if they do, I'll come on here and tell you how wrong I was and praise Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams and say how they're saviors in the NFL and they're going to be around forever. They can guide their way through this crap. They're at Green Bay this weekend. By the way, as I go off on a tangent again, weather in Green Bay on Sunday, 17 lovely degrees. Perfect weather for Big Nick, Uncle Big Nick. I'm surprised he didn't go to Lambeau this week with that kind of weather. After they go on the road to play the Packers, they host the Browns. Well, there's no way they're going to beat Shedeur Sanders. Okay, I'm just kidding. Okay, so they'll win that game. So they'll go 1-1 over the course of the next 2 weeks. And then they home for Green Bay, go to San Francisco on Monday Night Football, last Monday Night Football game of the year. And then on a short week, host the Lions, which is probably, if I had to bet right now, I think that's got to be the leading candidate for Sunday night, the final Sunday night game, right? Just saying. No, San Fran is not in Chicago. You'd be in San Fran's home. It's in San Francisco. Anyway, ain't gonna happen. Might be Houston. Gabe, All right, let me just bring them on. It's gonna be Houston and Indy.
Happened a couple of years ago.
Nobody wants to see that shit.
Oh, but people want to see Chicago.
Chicago and Detroit? 100% they'd rather say Chicago and Detroit. I hate to tell you right now, pal. You're the only one who thinks that. Even most Texans fans probably would rather see Bears Lions.
Really? Because networks don't think that?
I guarantee you are 100% wrong.
Depends. If it's for the division, then if it's for the division, it'll probably be Sunday Night Football.
Well, of course. I mean, if I'm just saying, if it's not for the division, if it's not for playoff related,
I agree with you.
If it's playoff related, I don't care even if it's for the division. If those two teams, if Chicago and Detroit are fighting for a playoff spot, which is very possible, over Houston and Indy playing for the AFC South division title, they're 100.0% chance taking the Bears and Lions fighting for a playoff spot. UBN, you want to weigh in? You're 3-0.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Bears Lions because everybody loves Campbell.
Oh God, yeah, don't get me started.
That'll be definitely more. That would draw more people.
David +1 picks Bears Lions. They are who we thought they were. Anyway, you boys are refreshed, and we didn't do so well. Me and Gabe didn't do so well the last time we were here. The reason why I'm 0-2. Chemo-Stop. We're we. Just like last time when you stunk 2 weeks ago. When 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, 2 times ago, when Gabe and I did great and you stunk, I still said we as a whole are doing fantastic. So we as a whole did crappy 2 weeks ago. Just because you went 3-0, and of course you said we didn't do pick 'em last week. They were hiring a coach. LSU was hiring a coach, but it's all about you being. Oh, of course I got 3-0, and you don't want to do a show.
Yeah, I know you love Lane. You're a Tulane blowhard anyway. What you worried about LSU coaching job for?
In fact, I'm going to change this show to the Tulane Blowhards. That is the new name of the show beginning.
No more Mean Green.
All right, if you're wondering why I'm 0-2 from 2 weeks ago, it's because I ignore ties. I hate anything in one, blah blah in one. It's ridiculous. A tie it's like it didn't play. It didn't happen. And the stinking who knows? The Jaguars had that covered the whole time, and then they almost blew it, and then they found a way to at least push. Jaguars Cardinals a couple weeks ago. Don't get me started. I'm never betting on the Jaguars again. Although one of us is. We'll get to that in a minute. So anyway, I was 0-2, minus 11 points. Gabe was 1-2, minus 7.5 points. And there he is. Life's too short to bet the under. I guess that means he's not betting any unders today. 3-0.
Please tell me he has an under.
No, I don't.
I don't think.
That'd be funny. I was kind of hoping for that.
All right. Time to get in our picks. Again, if you look at the overall season numbers, UBN has climbed back into second place. He's 20. These are numbers against the spread, by the way. We're all 500 or better, which, okay. I'm 22-13 for the season, 75-point differential. UBN is 20-16. He's 4 games over 500 against the spread. We're all positive points. We are telling you, we're not telling you to bet. If you don't want to bet, don't bet. Call the number if you need to call the number. But if you want to put a few bucks down and you want to have fun, we think you're going to be very well served to take our bets. Just saying. And we're going to start off. We're going to go from right to left. I'm going to start with Gabe and his picks. And your first one this week is an interesting. You got the Big Ten. By the way, we have no crossfire. There is two of us, we have the same game that we're betting on, but it's not crossfire. It's not pick 'em. It's 2 different bets. But other than that, we have no crossfire. We have no same games. You are taking the Big Ten championship game. Ohio State, you love the Buckeyes. You think IU is a fraud. Tell me why. I'm just kidding. I know you didn't say that.
I was going to say, I never once used the word fraud.
I'll put words in your mouth. I know.
Yeah, I think Indiana's a very good team. I just think Indiana beats up on teams that are vastly inferior to them. They did beat Oregon earlier this season, but Oregon is going through a bit of a transitional season. I think Ohio State is a completely different dog. They're vastly superior to Indiana in terms of talent on their roster. And I think Ohio State's going to control this game from start to finish. So I like the Buckeyes here.
My friend Joe Bowie is here, and he loves UBN's hoodie. What is going on? How about he is a former member of the Southern Band. He's got to be fired up about Marshall Faulk as the new Southern coach. I'm fired up about it. I'm not even a Southern.
One more note on the Big Ten Championship. Ohio State is 9-1 against the spread in their last 10. So
I will say this. I almost took the under in this game because I think both defenses are going to show out in the end. I do think that if I had to pick this one way or the other, I would probably take Ohio State here, but I don't love it enough. I absolutely could see Indiana coming in with a major chip on their shoulder. So we'll see.
I can see this being real close, and I ain't touching a 4.
I think this is going to be the most.
To be honest, Michigan moved the ball on Ohio State and just kept kicking field goals.
Yeah, okay, but counterpoint. Counterpoint. Indiana needed an absolute miracle catch to beat Penn State.
You're right.
Yeah.
So,
I wouldn't be surprised at all if the loser of this game wins the national championship, if that makes any sense. Wouldn't surprise me at all.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, take it a step further, I wouldn't be surprised if either of these teams win the national championship.
Yeah. Charles thinks Ohio University.
They're the two favorites for a reason.
Maction?
Oh, there's some stuff going on at Ohio State. Or at Ohio University right now.
I'm just kidding. All right, next game, you go into the pro. Yeah, you go into the pros. You got Seattle -7 over the hated Dirty Birds.
Yeah, Seattle's the best against the spread team in the NFL. They're 5-1 against the spread on the road. For some reason, Mike McDonald has them playing extremely well away from home. And you think I'm going to bet on Kirk Cousins? Absolutely not. Give me Seattle.
Falcons are a mess. I wouldn't touch this game really, but if I had to, I certainly would take your side, and I can see where you're coming from with the pick. And then I thought we were all going to just leave Trevor Lawrence be, but no, you got to stir up the pot. I don't know if this is coming from a place where you want this to happen, to cluster up the AFC South because so you can get your Texans in the back of your mind. But you got the Jags +1.5 against the Indianapolis Colts, who look
broken leg Daniel Jones's.
Yeah, the Colts are definitely they could be coming back to earth.
If we're talking purely emotional, I would rather the Colts win this game because then the Texans would control their own destiny in the South. But I usually wouldn't touch the Jags. But do you guys know the last time Indy won in Jacksonville?
Oh, it's been a long time. Even when Jacksonville was terrible, they were beating the Indy.
Yeah, I know.
Anyone want to muster up a guess?
It's been like 5 years.
Nope.
I don't know.
Longer?
2014.
Oh, I was about to say 1971, but Jacksonville wasn't in the league yet.
No, 2014 is the last time that Indy won a game in Jacksonville. Indy's trending in the wrong direction. Jacksonville is.
UBN didn't have any gray hair in his beard in 2014. Of
course, about 10 straight.
About 100 pounds heavier, though.
I wasn't married.
Well, it is what it is. All right. Well, there you go. To recap on Gabe's picks: Ohio State -4 over Indiana, Seattle -7 over Atlanta, and the Jacksonville Jaguars and the fighting Trevor Lawrence's +1.5 over the Colts.
That's
Moving on,
sneaky good defense too.
Yeah. Okay.
They do.
I'm not.
If Trevor Lawrence don't mess up the game, they probably gonna win.
If Liam Cohen had a competent quarterback, this team would be pretty good.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence is horrible.
All right, moving on to the man who is
hair, though.
Okay. Moving on to the man who is coming off of a big week.
Uncle Bidnick, can we make some picks today? Well, can we please?
You can say you broke the jinx all you want, but that's only because I played it too much and I got karma shoved straight up my keister. We'll see how.
I said, F that song, Joe Boo. I do it myself.
All right. Unbeaten 2 weeks ago. UBN, he's starting off with the SC Championship game. The fighting Georgia Bulldogs. He's got no faith in Kalen DeBoer in the Alabama Crimson Tide. He's got Georgia -2.5 over Alabama. Yeah,
the first game, like Georgia put it on them in the second half, just couldn't come back. And Alabama's going the wrong way. They're not playing great right now. I think Georgia and Kirby Smart's only 1-7 versus Bama in his last 8 games, but that one was the big one. It was the national championship. So I trust him in a big game like this way more than I trust DeBoer.
Also, that was Nick Saban, not
yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's just I'm just trusting Kirby with this. Their defense is way better. I think that's the best unit on the field, and I love the 2.5. I don't see this. I could see them winning by a field goal or two.
And he says life's too short to bet an under, so he's got the over in the AAC Championship game. The Fighting Menses, Duke Blue Devils against Virginia, over 57.5.
Duke's like every game, like 6-7 games been going over. I took the over 2 weeks ago. Like they can't tackle, they can't do anything. They can score, and they let other people score. So I could see this being 31-30, somewhere along those lines. Both teams getting in the 30s. I hope to God Virginia wins, so we ain't got to all you Duke getting in at 7-5. Like, is that even an argument?
There's no way Duke gets in.
People are arguing that though. Like, you got to have the ACC champ. No, you
they
don't.
can argue it till they're blue in the face. There's no way this happens.
There's no way with a five.
JMU would get it.
Yeah, it's insane. So, but I this is gonna be a fun game to watch. Just go back and forth.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a fun game, and it is. This game is actually in my picks. Spoiler alert. I'm just not picking the total. I'm actually picking the game. And then you're just trying to piss off some local doctor when you take the Green Bay Packers -6.5 over the Fighting Chicago Bears.
Who wants to bet against the Bears right now? Like, everybody is going to be taking the Bears.
All three of us?
Yeah, all three of us. But most people, it's like everybody taking the Cowboys.
My money on the Bears. You're insane.
It's just, I think the Bears, like Jim was saying, I think they come down to earth a little bit here. They've been winning by the skin of their teeth a lot, and Green Bay knows this team, knows Caleb Williams, and Green Bay doesn't have any more wiggle room. Like they got to go now. And if Jordan Love can protect the ball and stuff, I think they can win this one at home.
I got one of those games, no wiggle room game. By the way, Infantryman, thank you so much for the $10 super sticker. We appreciate all the donations today.
Since he did it while did we split that 3 ways? Since he did it, well,
no. From what I understand, you're about to pay more than $10 to become a sponsor of the show. That's just what I hear. That's the rumor I hear through the grapevine. Well,
I'm gonna send the payments through the super chat,
so everybody sees how much you pay.
Every 20.
That's actually kind of funny. See how that works. All right, it's time for my picks now, and I'm gonna get right into it. You got Duke, Virginia over. I think Virginia waxes that ass. I mean, they just played a couple weeks ago. I'm getting out of my lane because it's hip to be square. I have no idea, Gabe. You could tell me. I'm guessing this is super square. This has got to be one of the squarest picks of the week. I have no idea, but I don't care. Again, I've been pretty good with the square picks. Really, that's the only kind of the things that have been saving me. But they just played.
Mabel's in making a fruitcake at your house.
Yeah, and Mabel's. It's been a while. I mean, maybe that's why I kicked her ass out of my house. We haven't had fruitcake here in like 2 years. But
that's very
look,
square.
Very square it was. And
76%. And that's
76%. Wow, I never knew that.
76 is on Virginia 4.5 at BetMGM.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm jumping on this puppy, and I'll eat the grenade. Look, everybody wants chaos. Everybody, I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna see what's gonna happen. Oh, you want to see if it's square or not?
Yeah.
I think that everybody wants chaos here. I think a lot of the people the people that are betting on Duke are just kind of hoping for chaos. I like Virginia here again. They won a few weeks ago. I think they're just gonna steamroll them again. I don't understand why this is a 4-point spread. All right, so not as bad.
Can I just say this about Virginia?
Go ahead. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Everyone wants to make this all into drama and all that. Duke shouldn't get in. Virginia shouldn't get in, even if they win. I really don't think. I think JMU is going to fare better than Virginia. I've watched a lot of Virginia this year. Their offense is good. They've squeaked by some really bad teams like North Carolina. So I can almost guarantee you, no matter who, if Virginia gets in, no matter who they play, I'm betting against them heavily.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I agree.
You even more than Tulane?
Who would win if Tulane goes to Ole Miss, then no. The reason I said 0.0 is because the last time Tulane played Ole Miss wiped them off the field.
Yeah. Charles Mangus with the no shit statement of the day. Duke basketball is better than their football team. Well, thank you, Charles.
Hey, their women's basketball last night became the first team to hold LSU women under 100.
Oh, did they? Would they score 97?
Remember when we were up 15-1? Everybody was like, "Look at this."
Yeah.
Oh, also, poor LeBron. We didn't even talk about LeBron and his streak coming to an end.
Kevin Durant is now the leading streak of double-digit games, and he would have to play 82 games for the next
13 more years
of his career.
Yeah. He'd have to be 49 years old.
Whoop,
ridiculous.
Frickin' do. Who cares? Anyway, I did bring it up just to
I was going to say, you brought it up, not me.
All right. Going back into my lane. I got Bengals, Bills under 53.5. Gabe likes trends. Here's some trends. So this game is not just because there's a decent chance of snow. It's going to be cold as hell. It's perfect UBN weather. And he's wearing the shirt and all that thing. This is not just because of all that. The last time these teams have played a game over 53.5, I got some facts for you. Josh Allen was a sophomore at Wyoming, and he only threw 6 passes all year. Joe Burrow was 5 months removed from graduating from Athens, Ohio High School. That's the last time these teams played under. In fact, the last 5 games that these teams have played against one another, the highest scoring game total was 42. And that was 2023. So people just look at this game and just assume it's going to be over, and especially Joe Burrow's back. I think they have jacked up this number. It should probably be more like 50.5. And even then, I would still like the under. I think Bengals, Bills, again, the weather does have a little bit to do with it. But I am going with the trend. I don't use trends as much anymore as I used to, but I definitely like the trend in this one. Give me the under. I don't care what UBN says. Life is too short anyway, whether you bet over or an under. I'm taking the under. There you go.
So what you're saying is the last time this went over, they didn't have Burrow or Josh Allen as quarterbacks.
That is correct.
Full transparency.
Andy Dalton and I don't know, Tyrod Taylor in 2015. That's my guess. If I had to guess.
Yeah, probably.
Definitely Andy
full
Dalton,
transparency. Right? My ticket almost looked identical to both of yours. I almost had Georgia minus 2.5, Bengals, Bills under, and Ravens minus 5.5. So
you changed. Well,
for variety, I'm glad I did.
Yeah, me too.
I like the picks.
Because like I say, the way we do this is even y'all send it in, I can look at them, but I do not. I do every now and then I'll accidentally see one of them. Like I accidentally saw that UBN was taking Georgia, and he had to actually respond. So I knew that. I didn't know. I didn't see the other ones. It didn't matter. I wasn't touching that game anyway. So anyway, I don't know what y'all are picking when I pick. And lastly, look, it's time for Baltimore to either know what to do or get off the pot. I mean, it's one of those two. I'm sick of Lamar Jackson looking so pedestrian and looking like
what's wrong with him?
Looks like Spencer Rattler. I mean, I'm not.
He
is.
Gotta be still hurt.
I mean,
he ain't running at all.
Nobody gave Garrett Nussmeier excuses when he played hurt.
Oh, yes, we did.
You didn't.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't. You're hating all over him. You and UBN.
The whole time.
Lamar? Like, come on.
The whole time I said if
Lamar could outrun Nussmeier right now with his torn hamstring.
Yeah, all right. I just did that anyway. I'm just saying it's time for the Ravens to either show up or they're not going to show up. They're both 6-6 now. Steelers. I think the Steelers are a fraud. I've been saying that. A-Rod is causing all kinds of drama as he normally does because that's what he thrives off of. But the problem is other people don't thrive off of his drama. They just think he's an asshole. Yeah, hey, just go home. Go namaste somewhere. Please get the hell out of my face. Anyway, we're either going to see the Ravens do their thing here or they're just not going to do their thing. And I'm betting on Lamar. I'm going to give him one last chance to bet. And then, my fantasy team also says, please, for the love of Christ, please play well in this game.
Thank you. Jesus.
I just think that I think the Ravens win this one by 2 touchdowns. In fact, here's another trend for you. It's a very short trend. But the last 2 times that the Ravens and Steelers have played in Baltimore, the Ravens have won both games by a combined score of 31, combined spread of 31 points. So give me the Ravens minus 5.5. And if they screw me, I probably will stay away from them. the rest of the
Let me
year.
ask you guys this. What do the AFC North and the ACC have in common?
The AFC North and the ACC, they both start with A.
That is true. Regular fans, so fans of not those, no one wants to see them in the playoffs.
That's true.
I don't want to see any AFC North team in the playoffs. I don't want to see any ACC team in the playoff. I just don't want to see it. They're going to get destroyed no matter who they play.
I can't disagree with you. Hey, you know what would be cool if we all went 3-0? I mean, it's possible, right? What do you think has a better chance? Tulane winning their first playoff game or us going 9-0?
Us going 9-0.
Statistically speaking, Tulane winning their first playoff game. Realistically, us going 9-0.
Y'all some haters.
We've all went 3-0 at one point, so we just have to do it all in the same week.
Oh, that's all. I mean,
I've done it twice.
I mean, I think I've done it twice.
Yeah.
I think we've all done it twice.
Yeah.
I think I'd have to go back and look. All right. Anyway, we're next week. UBN's gonna be forced to get out of his lane. We don't have any bowls yet, do we?
What do you mean? Like being
the
played
bowls don't
next
start
week?
yet. I mean, next week we have to take NFL games, right?
14th or the 16th, something like that.
Yeah.
So no, we don't have any next week.
Yeah.
Oh well, I guess theoretically you could take a bowl game because
Theoretically, yeah.
we're gonna have to set some parameters on what we can take and can't take.
We had that one year I did like 80-something% on the bowl games.
Yeah, well,
but now with the transfer portal and all the different sitting outs and all, I barely pick bowl games anymore because you never know, except for the playoffs.
You never know.
Playoffs.
All right. Well, we will see y'all next week, barring an LSU coach getting fired again. We will have Pick'em next Friday.
No, that LSU coach ain't gonna quit for another like 4 years.
All right. We're good. All right. See y'all next week.
Later.
Sounds good.
All right, everybody. Yeah, I got so much to do today. I am going to Homa this afternoon. It is likely I don't know, maybe not. I'm actually not broadcasting this evening. It's going to be weird. I'm actually covering the Vanderbilt Catholic Shaw game for 2 different outlets tonight. So it is going to be weird covering a high school football game and not actually calling it. So I know there are people in the press box who will probably say, what's wrong with this dude? When I start, I'm just sitting there covering the game and all of a sudden I just 2nd and 8, the Shaw 47. No. I mean, if I just start talking to myself and doing play-by-play, you think anybody would get mad? What is wrong with this dude? Y'all know what's wrong with me. So anyway, that's where I'll be tonight. I've got so much going on right now. It very well could be the final football game I go to all year. We'll see. David +1 says the first bowl game is December 13th, the Celebration Bowl. All right. Well, maybe Cool and the gang will play at halftime. All right. I want to go back through real quick before we go off the air. Gabe said I should. He's 100% right. I want to give a shout out to all the people. Again, this is the first show that I was monetized. If you had to watch an ad or two, I apologize. But this is where we're going. We're going independent. Going independent. And we are taking donations now, and you can do that on YouTube by giving stickers or super chats and whatever it is. And so I want to give shout out Earl with the $5, Chad Gage with 20, GTB gave us $5. Thank you so much. Rocky's been here one of the first. Rocky has been here $10. Chris gave us $5. Charles Mangus $5. Brian Cavett $5. Infantryman gave us $10. I'm seriously, I can't thank y'all so much. I know y'all were talking earlier about how long y'all have been with us. And Brian, I think it's Brian Cavett that said he started following us around episode 70. That was back around the time when I started having Jeff Duncan live on Fridays. I went back and I'm like, you're the one. This is no joke. If you were watching earlier and I was talking with Zach about how far we've come. So I went back and took off all the old Bayou Bet shows and the Cashing In with Carville and all that stuff and the shorts from before this became just the Dattitude podcast. I took all those shows off. I'm sorry. I didn't think it fit in with what we were doing. So all those shows got taken off this week. But as I did, I was going back and looking in those early on, episode 70, episode 80, before we were even in triple digits, and looking at some of the Dattitudes, and some of them had like 3 views. I'm not kidding. 3 views, 6 views, 11 views. And that's why where we are now. And I get, look, I'm not setting the world on fire. We're not going viral yet. But just how far we have come in just a little over a month now, 5 weeks since I became an independent. And this show has taken off. It really has. I mean, considering where we were a little over a month ago, we're doing way better than we were doing even then. So I thank y'all. I could not do this. I couldn't even think about, look, it was a leap. To say that I was concerned is an understatement, and I still am. But I've never been more confident that this show is going to last, and it's only going to last because you people keep coming back, and you are part of my Dattitude family now. I thank you so much. I thank Gabe Henderson, of course, for sticking with me through all this. He had no reason to stay. When he got laid up, he went through the same thing that I went through. It just happened a year earlier for him. He stuck around. And all of y'all have stuck around one way or the other. So I'm very thankful to everyone. I just wanted to say that before I went off the air and went off this weekend. Next live show, as you see it on the screen here, Mono e Monday. We're probably going to get back to our regular and talk a lot about the Saints on Monday. We'll see. We will talk. Of course, we'll talk about Tulane one way or the other. And maybe we'll have a clearer picture of who's going to be in the college football playoffs. So that should be fun. Mono e Monday. My dime, I'm guessing my dime's going to be back on the Saints this week. We'll see. So that's coming up again Monday at 11 a.m. Next week we are on our regular schedule. I think for the next 2 weeks for sure we're on our regular schedule. And what I may do for Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, we'll see. Christmas Eve for sure, I may record a show and have it on. I think that's probably what I'm going to do. So we'll do something we don't normally do. We're probably going to have a recorded show on Christmas Eve because I'm going to want to spend time with the family. But at the same time, I don't want to break up the thing here. I want to have a show. So we'll see how that goes. And then New Year's Eve, I don't know. There's so much going on. We may actually have a live show on New Year's Eve. We'll have to see how that goes. Brian Cabot, thank you so much for being a part of the family. And happy weekend to you as well, my friend. All right. That's going to wrap it up for us on this Friday. I want to thank Zach Ewing. I want to thank you, and of course, Gabe Henderson. And you, not just our guests, you are part of our family. A reminder to subscribe to our Dattitude YouTube page. Again, click the little bell to receive notifications when we go on the air live, or you can always catch us after the fact if you like. You can get us, you just want to hear the audio-only version, you find us on Apple, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcast. You know how to find us. You can find me on X at Jim Derry Jr. We'll see you all Monday. Roll Wave. Go Saints. Everyone have a fantastic, wonderful, glorious weekend, and we'll see you in a few days. Take it easy, my friends.